if you're actually going to be putting your application out in the market and you're going to be using it for your application, then it's a really, really smart idea to protect it with trademark. And the cool thing about it is that you can start protecting your mobile application name even before you release it, even before you write a line of code. So this is a really, really good video if you have a company out there, if you have an LLC or a corporation that's going to release an app in 2 to 3 months. Great. It's really, really smart. Get started now because the process takes about 3 to 8 months. So as always, what we're going to start out doing is we're going to start off by going to tsdr.uspto.gov. So I'm going to just type that in the search bar real quick for you guys. And if we can get Victoria back on, I just want to get her input here on the name for our mobile application for our company. Let's see.
How about easy with a Z?
Easy with a Z. So one quick thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a structured search today. So I'm going to click structured, and then here the first search term I'm actually going to type in easy. So this is we're going to use what's called the basic index to do this search. There's an operator here. Make sure you do the and operator, otherwise you're going to get a lot of hits and it's not going to be what you want. And then for class, we're going to do class 9 because that's mobile. That would be the class for mobile applications. And this looks like there might be some risk. We're going to go ahead and proceed anyways. It's just good to know, good to see what we're getting ourselves into. This would be ordinarily high risk because there's a lot of marks that also have the same spelling and start off the same way. Easy Q, easy marks, for example. But for the purposes of this show, we're going to try it anyways. We're going to click File Online, and then we're going to click Start Initial Application Forms. And then we're going to click Start Your Application in TEAS. Now, one thing I want to point out, I already logged into the USPTO.gov site, so it already takes me directly here to the Start the Application page. But if you are not yet logged in, if you're doing this on your own and you're following the video, you might get to this point and be like, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? It's not quite what he's saying. Well, it's because, like I said, I'm already logged in. So you want to create your USPTO.gov site. It's actually really simple to create a USPTO.gov site. Not that tricky. Highly encourage you guys to have one and do it. You'll be able to create one, no problem. So once you create it, you're going to get to this page after you click on Start the Application. We're going to do the TEAS Plus today. So it's $225 per class. And we're going to do it from the perspective of the company. So the company's going to be filing this application, not the attorney for the company. So the reason why we're doing it this way, of course, is that if you want to do it on your guys' own, this is a straight nuts and bolts, step-by-step how you actually would do it. So for the owner of the mark, what you're going to do here is you're going to input the name of your company. And we're going to indicate what type of company it is. So in this case, it's a limited liability company. It's going to ask you, hey, where is your company registered? So our limited liability company is registered in California. And then we're going to have to input our address and the postal code. Phone number and fax are not required. I usually like to leave these off. Again, we have an LLC here, so you already have a form of identity protection. So for email, this, however, is required. So I'm going to go ahead and input my email. And then again, if you have a website, you can input it here. Okay, so when we click next, it's going to actually prompt us to input our phone number. It's going to say, hey, your number is not there. But remember, they have our email. So they'll always be able to reach out to us via email. So I'm going to click continue. Now here, this is the part where we actually input our mark. So here we're going to put in EAZY, which is Victoria's awesome app idea. And if you wanted to preview it, you click this preview button here, and it actually pop up a JPEG image of the actual logo of the word. Now, if you guys have logos, there's a button here called Special Form. That's what you'd click to do a logo. So I'm going to click Continue. Once we get here, this is the part where we have to use the CAN descriptions of the TEAS Plus. So one of the big things about these applications is that, yeah, you save $50, but you're limited in how you go about describing the product. So I'm going to type mobile application here. So downloadable mobile applications. Now, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to look for the TEAS Plus. We're going to want to look for descriptions that have braces, like right here, because these braces actually let you to input information. This is the one area where you have flexibility. So this is the one I like personally. Downloadable computer application software for mobile phones, software for, and then you can describe exactly what your application does. Yeah. So as you guys can see, I mean, explore, look around. There might be some better canned descriptions that are more fitting for you. Like there's one around education, if that's really what you're doing. All right, so I'm going to proceed then with this one right here, downloadable computer application software for mobile phones, namely, and then we're going to be able to say what it is the application does. So I'm going to go ahead and click Insert Checked Entries, and now we're good to go. So now we have downloadable computer application software for mobile phones, namely software for sketching and drawing. So hopefully Victoria's happy with that. Now we're going to click Section 1B. Now remember, again, Section 1B applications are applications also referred to as intent to use applications. So when I click it, it's going to prompt me, and it's going to remind me, hey, when you file this, this means that you have a bona fide intention to use this mark in commerce. So eventually later, this will not turn into a trademark application until you submit what's called an allegation of use, or also referred to as a statement of use. And once we click Assign Filing Basis, it's going to be assigned as a Section 1B application. So later in the process, like I said, after examination, even for a 1B application, after it goes through what's called a publication period. But after that publication period, you're going to get what's called a notice of allowance. And in order to get your mark registered on the register, you're going to have to submit that statement of use. And that statement of use is going to include a specimen showing actual proof of use in commerce. So in the case of a mobile application, it might be the download page on the App Store, Apple App Store, or Google Play Store, showing the ability for you to download the application, the mobile application, and then also the word mark next to that option. So now all we have to do is click Continue. And it's going to prompt us to enter our correspondence information. If you're filing a lot of cases, it's a good idea to have a docket number so you can keep track of your different cases. I always encourage you to include your team members. So I'm going to include Victoria. Nothing is going to slip through the cracks knowing that Victoria's on this as well. So I would include your teammates, colleagues, whoever is involved with the trademarking process. It's a good idea to have them here on the application. That way, any notification they're also going to get, and it's going to decrease the likelihood of anything falling through the cracks. So again, if you can enter up to 4 emails, so if you have other partners, colleagues, teammates, assistants, just add them here. That's what I recommend. It's always good to have more notifications than less. Go ahead and click Continue. And then you're going to get to the part where you actually sign the application. So to sign the application directly, all you do is leave this checkbox, and then you have to check these various boxes. These are the declarations that you're making along with the application. The first one is saying that you understand that this is an intent to use mark. You believe that you have a right to use the mark, and you have a bona fide intention to use the mark in commerce at some future date. So, and then these following checkboxes, they're actually going to basically expand upon these prior statements. So this one's basically saying that as far as you know, there's no one else that has a similar mark out in the marketplace. This one is saying that there's factual basis to supporting the statements that we make in the application. And this last one is saying that you're signing under penalty of perjury. So any lies, willful misstatements in the application could be fined or result in imprisonment. So these are the 4 checkboxes you have to check, and these are the declarations that you make whenever you file a trademark application. Now, for the signature, again, it's really easy. You just put your name within slashes. They make the date really simple too. All you have to do is just click the box, and it actually auto-populates a date for you. For your name, again, you're going to have to input your name again. And again, I like to put last name, comma, first name. They started requiring this, so I just kind of got into the habit of doing that. And again, position, I'm going to call myself president. And then phone number, optional, so you don't have to actually put one in. Okay, all right. So we're going to go ahead and click Validate. We're here. This is the final step before we actually submit. So we're going to click on Input. We're going to check out our mark. Again, here's the mark here, and this is our company, and this is the address, email address. This email address again is required. Again, it's a limited liability company in California. Under Class 9, Victoria had a great idea for what the application is going to do. So it's downloadable computer application software for mobile phones, namely software for sketching and drawing. And again, Section 1B, meaning it's an intent to use trademark application. Correspondence information. This is our emails. This is where the correspondence is going to go to. And then It's a TS Plus, so we're saving $50. It's only $225 instead of $275. A couple things before we file. This is the mark. This is how it's actually going to show up, EAZY. Make sure that the mark is actually spelled correctly because you can't get a refund, okay? That's what this checkbox down here is making you confirm. It's making you confirm that you understand that there are no refunds. And the second thing that's reminding you of is that you have no right to confidentiality, meaning everything that you submit in this application is going to become public record, even if the application does not turn into a registered trademark. So something to keep in mind. If you guys are unsure about filing today, it's okay. All you have to do is click Save Form, and it's going to download what's called a .obj file. That .obj file you can then take and use tomorrow. So at the very start of the application, when you click this initial application form, it actually gives you the option to upload a .obj file. So really, really useful thing. If you're not entirely sure, if I want to talk to Victoria about it more before I submit, I can save the form, we can talk about it, and then I can restart the session, upload it again, and then file. You're probably going to get some junk mail. Just be aware of that. You might want to bookmark this tab, check it out. But they have a lot of really, really great examples of how people get scammed. Before we submit, I just also want to tell you guys one more thing. If you guys made a mistake in the application, it's really easy to go back and modify. You just click Go Back to Modify. You can actually go back through every part of the application, and it saves all your information. So once you go forward, it all gets saved. So you're not going to lose anything. All right, so we've confirmed application's good. We went through it together. We understand 1, 2, and 3. We understand no right to confidentiality, no refunds, and we might get some misleading notices. So I checked the box there, and I'm ready to submit. So I'm going to go ahead and click Pay Submit. And at this point in time, it's going to take me to a form where I can actually input my credit card information. So after I input my credit card information, I'm going to get what's called a filing receipt. That filing receipt is going to have my filing date, and it's also going to have my serial number. That serial number is really, really important because I can use that serial number to track the progress of my application throughout the entire process and even after. And you're going to click Submit Payment. And again, $225, it's a TS Plus application. So once you file, you're going to get the serial number, and then you can go to tsdr.uspto.gov at any time to check the status of your application. So that is how you do a TS Plus application for your company's mobile app before you release. Again, you can start protecting your intellectual property even before you write a single line of code. Thanks so much for watching. We're going to bring you guys a lot more awesome content.